All right, today we're going to talk a little about people who love children, and we're going to use language that attempts to get around any tomfoolery when it comes to what YouTube might do to this video. So here we see the Pope with this interesting spiral triangle logo, and when all of this came to my attention in 2020, there was also this next slide going around, and it's from the FBI website purportedly. And, if you want to verify that it's true, you can go back and look and see if it is. I won't say that it came from there, but that's where it purportedly comes from. And it shows these symbols as codes for people who love children, maybe in an inappropriate way. And they all have like different meanings. And then we see these same symbols in just like everywhere, but Disney does it a lot. Disney has a lot of subliminal imagery that is inappropriate for children. And, I'm going to show a few examples of that. So somebody traced this out, obviously, so you could see it better. But if you see it without the yellow lettering, it's still going to say the same thing, right? And if I saw a few of these, I might think that it was a coincidence or just like, somebody's imagination. But even in the toys they sell and stuff, they make very obvious innuendos, to body parts that maybe young children shouldn't be exposed to. And I know Walt Disney was a 33rd degree Freemason. So I just wonder how deep this stuff goes, because there are a lot of missing children every year. I wonder how many go missing, when they go to Disneyland and stuff. But here we have another example of this. They hide little words and images subliminally in their cartoons and advertisements. And then Pixar always has A113 in all of their movies. And if you search A113 compound, the adrenochrome comes up. But they'll tell you that the A113 is actually gibberellin, which is a plant hormone. But adrenochrome is definitely a real thing. It's actually just when the adrenaline in blood gets exposed to oxygen, it changes color. Adrenochrome color. And but it's weird that this topic would be referenced in all this pop culture. Like Aldous Huxley in his book Doors of Perception likened it to symptoms of mescaline intoxication. And Aldous Huxley wrote some interesting books, Brave New World. And in Clockwork Orange, it is mentioned. So why are they mentioning it in these movies if it's just some benign, useless, weird substance that we shouldn't think anything strange about, right? So it comes from adrenalized blood. And Hunter Thompson, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, mentions it too. And it's like this hallucinatory drug. And they say it's, more powerful than anything. And so it's also in Warhammer 40,000 novel, The Talon of Horus, and is described as being a clear liquid beverage that is harvested from the adrenal glands of living slaves. And then they go on to tell you it's all a conspiracy theory. Of course, it's just a conspiracy theory. But, there was a story in the news not too long ago about an older man who was using his younger son's blood transfusions to stay young. So there could be something to adrenalized blood, whether it's exposed to oxygen or not, to become adrenochrome that could be like a fountain of youth. So who are the characters in this whole thing? John Podesta was a former senior advisor to the President of the United States, Bill Clinton. And there's a lot, he looks a lot like a Rockefeller, and he also looks like Chester Bennington, who died in a very suspicious way. More about that later if I have time. And then you have his brother, Tony. And, it's just interesting that Tony has this neat artwork in his home where it's basically a statue of the way Jeffrey Dahmer posed his victims. I mean, why would crazy conspiracy theorists think this guy might be kind of like crazy and part of a family that it does really sick stuff? It's beyond me. I mean, beyond me. I don't know why people would think that. It seems like a nice guy. But anyway, there's all these emails that were leaked, WikiLeaks, Hillary's email server, and it talks about having young kids in the pool and further entertainment, and they will be in that pool for sure. And it just, there's multiple emails that come out that seem like they're talking in code about providing children for these bigwig adult politicians to have fun with, right? And then, here's one about Obama spending $65,000 flying in pizza and hot dogs from Chicago for a private party. Why would you need to fly him in from Chicago? And if you look more about the symbols of what pizza means and dogs means and things like that, all of this language is code for certain, you could say, menu items for these people who really, really love little children, and possibly they're excited, adrenalized blood for some reason. But this is just a crazy conspiracy theory, and this is for entertainment only. Here's some tweets that Chrissy Teigen deleted. I'm not going to read them. I'll let you read them while they're on the screen. But yeah, I think she threatened to sue people because they were calling her, telling people that she really, really loved little children. And she was wondering why she had to delete like 60,000 tweets or something. And yeah, I mean, if I tweeted like this, and then people started noticing, and I would probably want to delete my stuff too. But it wasn't just her. Patton Oswalt also had a couple strange ones. I'll let you read this one. But he had another one about, I'm not going to let my followers, my hammer-toed followers pedo shame me. I'm a proud child lover, right? He's a proud lover of little children. And there's certain things that maybe shouldn't be joked about. So it's hard for me to believe that all these people are joking. And here's one of the emails to Huma Abedin, and I believe it was from Hillary Clinton. And it says, with fingers crossed, the old rabbit's foot out of the box in the attic, I will be sacrificing a chicken, that's code, in the backyard to Moloch. And Moloch was like this, most people think, a demonic entity in the Bible that children were sacrificed to. And then here's one from John Podesta, and it says, did you leave a handkerchief? That's the subject. And then he's talking about a realtor finding a pizza-related map. What in the heck would a pizza-related map be? I mean, I'm not saying you have to believe all this stuff. I'm not saying I do either, but a lot of it's very, very, very strange. And then you have this panda eye thing. Why with the black and white and the panda eyes, Lady Gaga? Why? Well, if you look into what happens to very, very physically traumatized children, they get these black eyes, and they call them panda eyes. And the next couple of slides are going to show more references to that. Here's Alice Cooper with his album $1 Billion Babies. The baby has panda eyes. And in the song $1 Billion Babies, he says something about, like, I'm afraid if I get too rough that your little head will come off. And, yeah, if they're not, there's a little white rabbit, too, there. Like, follow the white rabbit. That's related to this adrenalized blood in a way. But there's also, a lot of bands who paint their eyes black. Some say KISS stands for Knights in Satan's Service. I don't know. But they have a little SS. That's an interesting shapes they got there, almost like lightning bolts or something else. And then there's also a lot of plasma apocalypse symbolism, the all-mocking tongue, the rock hands. There's a lot of that with KISS. I'm not going to leave this pickup very long, but here's some more of the panda eyes from the abuse, and then politicians shamelessly flaunting panda symbolism in front of you. And here's Lady Gaga at a spirit cooking party, they call it. She's with Marina Abramovich. And they go to these parties where supposedly they basically do engage in mock cannibalism. And, there's more of them and more celebs who go. Here's Gwen Stefani at a spirit cooking or mock cannibalism event. This is all too crazy. Like, I was going to make a longer vid, but I'm only going to be about 5 more minutes here because I started kind of getting sick, like thinking about all this stuff again. I found out about it in 2020 with the whole Pizzagate stuff, and the owner of Comet Ping Pong, where a lot of these weird tweets with taped up children and stuff, and where a lot of these people met, James Alefantis, Jaime les Enfants, in France means I love children. So yeah, they even have pseudonyms, like Podesta is like close to pederast, or another word that we're kind of dancing around here when we're talking about really loving children. But here's some more of the tweets and images from Comet Ping Pong. I'll let you look at that and decide what you think of these. But yeah, they would and this was like a family-friendly pizza place, but I guess there was like maybe a basement or something. And but they put the tweets out themselves, and Instagram posts and stuff. But then there was this whole, what was probably a psyop, where they staged this thing where this crazy conspiracy nut went with a gun and tried to break into Comet Ping Pong to bust this ring up, right? They probably did that to just further implant this as just a conspiracy among people who were just learning about it and think, oh, wow, look at these crazy people, right? That's the first thing you hear about it. I mean, 8 million kids go missing every year, and at least 12 different celebrities that have been rumored to be speaking out or confirmed to be speaking out about this stuff were dead on doorknobs. You could say they were, I'm not even going to say the word. Yeah, they were maybe unalived. I think you can get away with that one. But some people even think that maybe they used to advertise on, like, they weren't trying to find these kids on missing milk cartons. Like, if you knew the codes, you could call in and buy these children. They were abducted and for sale. And I thought that was kind of weird, but then I remembered this whole thing with Wayfair, where this Wayfair company was selling pillows and weird furniture items and accessories for like $10,000 when they shouldn't be that much. And those accessories just happened to have the same name as missing children. Like this one was Duplessis, right? And the girl in the top right, her name was Duplessis. And I don't know if all these are accurate. Some people could have made these up trying to get followers and likes and shares, but I know some of it was real because I remember looking into it when it was happening in real time back in 2020. And then after that, there was the whole Balenciaga thing where they had the 5-year-old girls modeling with basically bondage teddy bears and instructions for how to get away with virtual child porn. And then, where does all this stuff go down? Well, this is the Vanderbilt Mansion, or the Biltmore Mansion, rather, owned by the Vanderbilts. And this just happens to look just like it. And it's some more Tony Podesta art, right? Made by Biljana Djurjevic. And, so James Alefantis' name, it comes up there again. But they found these art in these people's houses. Yeah, some art, right? But anyway, Tony Podesta, that name reminds me a lot of this word, just like James Alefantis is, in French is, I love children. So they even have pseudonyms, right? But this is Gloria Vanderbilt, and this is some kind of weird-looking ritualistic thing. The son that wasn't Anderson Cooper supposedly died, but a lot of people think that it was just made to undergo a sex change, like since a lot of the stars are androgyne Baphomet inverts now, or all of them rather. So that this one is now Kathy Griffin. And Kathy Griffin and Gloria Vanderbilt are really tight, and so are Kathy and Cooper. And yeah, that facial structure, man, it sure looks very much alike. So the wealthiest, most powerful people in America are in on this. And I'll end this by giving a nod to Isaac Cappy. He was an actor. He started exposing all this stuff, talking about Tom Cruise and Steven Spielberg and Oprah and all these people. And not too long after that, they said he committed Harry Carey. And but really, if you look at it, it looks like probably not. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. I probably left a lot of stuff out. I couldn't make this too long because it makes me sick to my stomach. But I hope you liked it. If you do, like, share. Have a great day.